Hi, and welcome back to the Custom Saber Shop on YouTube. And today I'm going to show you a little bit about how to use the MHS Builder. So you're on the website. Welcome to www.thecustomsabershop.com. If you're new, you're going to find that this whole thing is pretty awesome. So let's go down to the bottom left, and we're going to take a look at these options, and we are going to click on MHS Builder. And that's going to open up a new window for us. And I'm just going to center things right like that. And this is where we get to play. This is where we get to design and build our new Saber. Now there's a lot of features in here. I'm not going to go through all of them. I encourage you to just fire it up and just play and learn as you go. But I'll give you a couple of quick things. For instance, if you go down to the bottom here, there's all the different parts that are carried in the store. So we'll click on main bodies, click on this first hilt style 1, and I click on it. It gives me a number of options. Now often when I click on a part, it'll just come up. But let's take a look at these options. Let's say I want hilt style 1 with a drilled hole for a 12mm AV switch. Update. Well, now it gives me that part, hilt style 1, with a hole drilled for a 12mm AV switch. Now eventually all of the hilt parts will have that series of options. The switch automatically will be set to be drilled 1.5 inches in from the end. So that's right now it's only on hilt style 1. If I click hilt style 2, it just pops up. So that option will be this option where it gives you this. That'll be available on all of these. So I'm just going to click on them, delete, click, delete. We're not going to use any of these parts for the Saber that I'm going to design and build with you today. So let's go to, I like to think from the blade holder down. So let's pick a blade holder. There's a whole lot to choose from. Let's see, let's pick, this one's kind of cool. I like that style. So I'm going to move this over here. Now you notice there's a ruler here that gives you a rough idea of the length of the parts you're working with, but you also, right up here, this is going to keep track of the price of the parts that I'm selecting. It's also going to keep track of the length of the Saber regardless of where I put this, which is a really cool feature. So one glance up there tells me how long my Saber is. If I want to keep my Saber under, say, 11 inches, that's going to tell me when I'm getting close. So I've got my blade holder. Next, let's say I want a choke. So we're going to pick, this one's pretty cool. I'm going to pick that choke. Now you'll notice that the threads are visible, and I can see male threads, female threads. These parts are going to go together. If this part was to, see, I notice I hit that twice and I rotated it around. Well, now it's male threads to male threads. Those aren't going to work. So I want to go back, male threads to female threads. If I turn off the thread hints box, well, the threads disappear. I'll show you what that looks like once the Saber's more put together. You'll also notice that if I get the parts close, they just snap together. That's because I've got this snap to box clicked. If I was to click that off, then I could move the parts in subtle different directions. But I want them to connect for our purposes today. So I've got a blade holder. I've got a choke. I want to go with, let's see, an extension of some kind. So let's go with the extensions. Let's say I want this ribbed extension with the V-grooves. Male threads, female threads, good. We're in good shape here. My Saber is starting to look really cool. I want to finish it off with another extension, so let's go down here to 4 inch. 5 inch, let's pick a 4 inch. 4 inch extension. Oh, my Saber's already getting pretty close to 12 inches, so I might want to actually go with a smaller extension, but let's just keep going. Let's go to pommels. If I know that my Saber's getting pretty long, I may want to pick a really short, low profile pommel like this one, not a really long one. Let's see how we're doing. Those to go together. Again, male threads, female threads. Everything fits together nicely. Just over 12 inches. So that's a little over my target. So I could switch it up, I could remove the choke, but let's just go with this for now. So that's what my Saber's going to look like. If I switch off or uncheck the thread hints, now I get a sense of what the Saber is going to look like. So I want to show a couple of things that, now that I've kind of designed what I want my Saber to look like, that are just going to help you with the finer details. You're going to want a blade retention screw. You might want to put a switch box on there. And here is a feature that's going to be really helpful when you're doing that. Internal view, right up here. I'm going to check internal view box, and look what happens. Now I can see the inside diameters of all the parts. I can see where the threads are. So I can decide where I want my blade holder or my blade retention screw to go. And I'll give you an example. With this blade holder, look, there's lots of meat. There's lots of good metal for the blade retention screw to be drilled through. But if I had, let's say I pick a blade holder, let's say like this one here. Well, now I can see the internal view of that because I've got internal view checked. We'll take a look. Thick metal, very thin metal. So I don't want to put my blade retention screw here because it just doesn't, the threads don't go as deep. It's not as strong. I also don't want to put it down here because it's just too close to the LED and it doesn't have as much grip on the blade. I want to put it right about here. So I'll give you an example what to do. So let's say you're ordering these parts. Well, let's go back over for a second to Custom Saber Shop main page. Let's go down to, over on the left here, you'll see services. Let's go check services. Well, look at all the services that I can order along with my parts. I'm going to select drill and tap hole. It's the hole in the blade holder that's going to hold for my screw for my blade retention screw. And I'm going to select 832 thread because that's the kind of screw that I like to use for a blade retention screw. And location for the hole, I could specify. I want it on. I can be very detailed in the specifics, or I can just say wherever is best. And that allows Tim at the Custom Saber Shop to pick the best location on the blade holder and drill and tap for a blade retention screw there. You can specify, on which, if you're ordering several blade holders, you can say on blade holder 2. So this is your best way to get a blade retention screw hole drilled exactly where you want it. So let's go back to our build. We're going to delete that. Let's say I want a box. Let's go down to miscellaneous. Oh, look, there's a really cool switch box here. And I'm still on my internal view, so I can see where all the holes go. If I wanted to place it here, well, that's going to be a problem because, snap 2. Let's take snap 2 off. Now I can place it where I want. If I want to place it here, well, look, that screw hole is going to go right through and into the threads. It's going to complicate my build. So I may want to move it over here. So the threads, the screw holes go into areas of this piece that do not have threads. So that's how you use internal view to help determine where your holes go. And again, if you want to have your holes specifically drilled for this box, you can go back to, let's go back to services, and you can pick the services that you need to have the holes drilled for your particular switch box. It's all here. So I want to switch off internal view, and I want to give you one more thing, powder coating. You can click on the powder coating, and I can choose a part. Let's say I want to choose this ribbed section. And I'm going to turn off thread hit so I can get a better idea of what it looks like. And let's say I want to use, let's see, I could do a solid color. I could do style 1. Oh, that's nice. Or style 2. Okay, let's say I want to go style 1. Like the black, that really looks good with the body. I could do some kind of funky red. Now, this isn't going to be exactly what that color is going to look like. If I want to see what that color looks like, I can click up here. And that gives me a new window. Excuse me. Loading. There we go. So that gives me an idea of what the particular colors look like. Actual photos. Actual photos of the different colors and the different options. So go back to our build here. So that gives me an idea of what I'm looking at. Now maybe I don't want the red. Maybe I want to go back to the black. So that's how to use the powder coating feature. You can close that up when you're ready. Of course, I could do different parts of the Saber. Now, if you notice here, this is keeping track of the build price. So all the different parts, that's keeping track of the price. I can go for a parts list. And look, this tells me all the different parts I've selected, what they're worth, what my price is. I can click one button to add it all to my cart. Now, a note, when you do that, it's no guarantee that all these parts will be in stock. You really need to double check that what's added to your cart is, in fact, the list that you have here. because a certain pommel may be out of stock, you may need to order a different one. So you can click that Add to Cart. One more feature that I want to show, if you save build, this is a great way to save to your computer your image of the Saber that you've designed. But there's another thing you can do here. You can click Continue. You could actually save and send this image to the Custom Saber Shop. And when you do that, I click here at Custom Saber Shop, I can put my order number. So let's say I've just ordered the parts and I want to show Tim at the Custom Saber Shop how the parts go together so he can see where I'm envisioning placing the switch box. So I would put my order number in here and I could click Send, and that would send a copy to Tim at the Custom Saber Shop for my different build, and that would show him exactly what I've done and exactly where I've envisioned the parts going. So I hope that this has been a helpful little rundown of the different things you can do, some of the different things you can do with the MHS Builder feature. I encourage you to play with it, have fun with it, and thanks again for watching.